Oh yeah, come on. Hey gang, Jordan O'Leary here on my final ascend up this, well you can't, here it is, up this mountain in Mexico to those towers. I forgot my damn microphone. We're gonna talk about freaking fracking. I realize that my microphone is sitting right here. So now I'm driving out because I'm late.
Good boy. Good boy.
And June won't get in the car, will you, June? That is my meat that I am drying. I dry it in my car because it's so hot here and it takes minutes. So it's kind of like prosciutto jerky. It's fantastic. It is fantastic. You have some like shit prosciutto that's not that great, just dry it. Or you gotta get on a plane and you have a big chunk of prosciutto or serrano and you gotta get rid of it. Just dry it up. Here we go. Last traverse up the big one. And this is not gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to do this one walking up. So I wanna get this one over with because it's about fracking. And to be honest, I don't wanna freaking talk about fracking. Scraping the sides of the earth just to get little pellets of crude out of the ground, or natural gas and all that. Kind of like cold butter in a pie crust. I don't know why I don't like it. I'm gonna give it a fair shake like I always do. Try to see both sides of the issue here with everyone's favorite topic, fracking. Fracking, or hydraulic fracturing, involves injecting water, sand, and chemicals deep into the earth to crack rock formations and release natural gas and oil. And when we figured out that we could do this in America, we are in quite of a position because we have this shale, this porous stuff. This process has helped the US tap into our massive reservoirs, and it has kind of unfairly turned us into an energy powerhouse. And we had a lot of dinosaurs and stuff here, which is of course what all oil is made of, and that is not true. But you know, we have good lands here, and we got a lot of stuff under the ground. And it was so much so that in the 1950s we became a net exporter of fossil fuels, which means we were exporting more than we were consuming, something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but it's been very big for us to not rely on imported oil. To get these little cold pieces of butter holes out of the pie crust, we inject water, sand, and chemicals into these rock formations, and it releases the gas and the oil. Fracking is responsible for about 2/3 of the natural gas produced in the US, saving the American household an estimated $2,500 annually on energy costs and significantly reducing reliance on foreign oil, as I mentioned. But let's break down why everyone loves to hate it so much. The most common fear of fracking is water contamination. Anti-fracking activists point methane leaking into groundwater, even causing tap water to catch fire, as we've all seen in that video. Pennsylvania's Department of Environmental Protection has linked hundreds of contamination cases to fracking, and viral videos of flaming faucets on TikTok have stoked concerns that fracking poisons drinking water. Fair enough, it's pretty ghastly to see something like that happening. Methane leaks are another big concern. Methane, potent greenhouse gas, is said to be released in large amounts during fracking operations. Environmentalists argue that these leaks worsen climate change as methane traps heat 25 times, not percent, times more effectively than carbon dioxide. Then there are the earthquakes. Increased seismic activity in the states like Oklahoma have been linked to fracking, with critics claiming the process causes tremors. And Oklahoma is not really a place you think of that receives a lot of earthquakes, not like California and Baja. Geez. Being here past, I would say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we've had a 5.0, like right in the epicenter, and about 10 days of aftershocks. Yeah. Health risks are frequently mentioned. People living near fracturing sites report respiratory issues, headaches, and even some severe illness. Critics also argue that fracking delays the U.S. transition to renewable energy by continuing to extract natural gas. They claim the U.S. remains dependent on fossil fuels. Makes sense? Which slows the adoption of cleaner energy sources like wind and solar. While this is valid and concerning, it overlooks the fact that natural gas is still cleaner than coal and has played a role in reducing U.S. carbon emissions by replacing coal in electricity generation. Okay. I'm gonna get halfway up and then we'll unpack the truth behind these claims and the economic reality of freaking fracking. Oh, just look at what the rain did, what the storm did. Wow. Yeah. Desert can't handle rain very well. Screw it. I decided to go all the way. Right, guys? Huh? Oh. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh. First, water contamination. While methane leaks into water supplies have occurred, they are rare and typically tied to poorly regulated sites, which are things that we definitely have to take care of. Yes, we need to regulate the sites, but they are rare. 2015 Environmental Protection Agency study, the EPA, found that while fracking can affect water, the widespread contamination hasn't occurred. So the flaming tap water stories are extreme cases, not the norm. The chances of setting your faucet on fire are about as likely as winning the lottery. Possible, but don't hold your breath. Don't start a lighting faucet on fire YouTube channel. It's pretty rare. Okay? Methane leaks are a real concern, but they're often exaggerated as well. The majority of methane emissions can be controlled through proper regulation. The problem isn't the fracking itself, but once again, the companies cutting corners on safety probably need to be more regulated. When properly regulated, methane leaks can be drastically reduced at making which makes fracking a less significant contributor to climate change than critics suggest. I'm just being fair. The earthquakes linked to fracking are not caused by the fracturing process, as we mentioned, but by wastewater injection. The U.S. Geological Survey, the USGS, confirms that most fracking-related tremors are small and unlikely to cause serious damage. So it's a classic case of fear-mongering. The headline, "Oklahoma rocked by tremors," grabs attention with people like you and me, and the actual impact is usually quite minimal, but that's not how news makes the money. The stories of people getting sick are real. Fracking isn't perfectly safe, but there's no solid evidence that it poses widespread serious health risks. And last but not least, what if we ban fracking altogether? Why not? Well, the U.S. gets about 2/3 of its natural gas from fracking, as we talked about, and eliminating it would severely impact the economy. Energy prices would skyrocket, and that $2,500 savings we mentioned, that would go away, and something like that really affects people. States like Pennsylvania and Texas, where hundreds of thousands of jobs depend on fracking, would see massive unemployment. Also, the U.S. would be forced to rely on energy imports again, and you know what happens when we need to deal with getting oil from other countries and wanting to control it. And besides that, often from countries with weaker environmental regulations. So we're kind of better the devil we know, I guess. Fracking, you gotta love it. And stay tuned for more fracking in the United States. All right, Mexico. Love ya. Goodbye. Mwah.